In 1 Samuel chapter 22, David is a man on the run. He's basically an outlaw. He's running from King Saul. Even though David knows in his heart that he is destined to be king, he is running. And he ends up hiding in a cave. And this is an incredible story. And it starts in verse 1, and it says this: So David left Gath and escaped to the cave of Adullam. Soon his brothers and all his other relatives joined him there. Then others began coming, men who were in trouble or in debt or who were just discontented, until David was the captain of about 400 men. So David hides out in a cave, just trying to stay away from King Saul. And people start joining him, the outcast and the outlaws and the oppressed. He's got this motley crew that is just joining him. It's kind of like an island of misfit toys. And it's the unlikeliest group of heroes ever. And they gather around him. It's like the fellowship of the outcast and the fellowship of the hurting. They all have been outcasts for some reason. They've all been misfits for some reason. And now they're gathering around David. And these are a bunch of men who have no reason to live. They have nothing to do. They've been cast out, and they gather around David, and they find a home with him. And they're looking for someone. They're looking for something to live for. People collect around a cause. Have you ever realized that? We are wired on the inside just to collect around the cause. We're not wired to be deadbeats. Nobody's wired to do nothing. We are wired to be a part of a cause. Now we've got to make sure that we are collecting around the right cause. We got to make sure that we're collecting other people around the right cause. And that's what David does. And David is just kind of falls into this accidentally. He's just trying to hide out in a cave. And one day he looks up and he has this group of 400 men following him. And these men become David's mighty men. They become his posse of extremely burly men who were willing to die for him, who are later, we see them doing some incredibly heroic things. And they're willing to die for him because they had lived with him, because they knew who he was, and they believed in his cause. We know that David, because of what we've already studied, was a great friend, but now we realize he was a great leader, because he was a friend to those he led. And he was an incredible leader. And they rallied around him, this army of misfits, and they became one of the greatest armies ever. We can't judge a book by its cover, and we can't judge people by what they look like. And we shouldn't try to build an army of the biggest and the brightest, because you know what? That's going to backfire. We need to realize that the unlikeliest people can become our best friends. The unlikeliest people can become our strongest allies. Judge people the way God judges them, by their heart, okay? And realize that sometimes it's really good to hang out with a bunch of misfits. Sometimes it's really good just to realize that we are all outcasts and outlaws and oppressed. So let's band together. And let's form a fellowship of the suffering. Let's form a fellowship of outcasts. And just be vulnerable and transparent with each other, and let God do amazing things to us and through us. God bless you guys. Giddy up!